Hey guys, welcome back to Excoundrel AFK Journey. Now this is a really interesting video because a new blog post has just been released by the AFK Journey team, and it's talking about the new season as well as addressing some concerns and some issues that you might have with AFK Journey in general. So let's go through it together. Let's discuss what's happening. Let's chat. Of course, if you like the content, feel free to subscribe. I do loads of AFK Journey content from kind of like general meta stuff, and I'm started doing like hero deep dives. You can check out my Cessia guide on the channel now as well. I'm trying to do that for all of the heroes. Let's chat a little bit now about the new season. So, to ensure a consistent experience for players on all server, the new season will be available when the server has been active for at least 42 days. So essentially, if you've joined a new server, and if you don't know how servers work, servers on launch have existed since launch. I think I was on server 60 something, and that was there since launch. But there are some servers in like the 200s and 300s that are newer servers that just get set up when the player population demands it, right? So some of those servers will be newer. Some of the servers that are right from the beginning will have like a Song of Strife earlier because they were set up earlier. So essentially, basically, I think people who've been playing since launch will get access to the new season on May the 10th, which is in just under 2 weeks' time. So that's when we're going to get access to Song of Strife. To make sure that everyone knows when the season starts on their server, a countdown banner will be available in game. So essentially, you'll see it in game when the new season is coming. What they're saying is a season is going to run for 4 months and ends on simultaneously on all servers running it, followed by a synchronized transition to the next season. So what I'm going to assume is that a season is going to run for about 4 months, and then all servers that are running that season, it'll end. So basically what they're saying is, yes, some of us might get a little less time in the season, but essentially it's gonna even out relatively nicely towards the end. And what I think they're hoping to do is that they're going to eventually synchronize as many servers as possible into the next season. So they also say that unlocking seasonal content requires Resonance level 240, clearing AFK stages 1125, and completing the main quest line. So essentially, you can do all of that really easily when you've got Resonance 240. I completed AFK stage 1125 when I was about Resonance 200, and the main storyline requires you to be at least Resonance 210 to finish, I think. So if you hit Resonance 240, you'll clear AFK stage 1125, and also clear the storyline relatively easily as well. And of course, if you hit a really high resonance level, a great way to progress AFK stages, if you're really far behind on them, is to just hit auto battle, and you'll be able to just auto battle your way through them. You can just leave your phone somewhere or leave your PC on, and auto battle through yourself through loads of stages, come back to a massive amount of rewards. It's nice. Essentially, what they're trying to say is that they would like everybody to be about the same level when the Song of Strife season starts. Now, that's obviously nice. What I would say is that people are still going to have mythics, people are still going to have supreme pluses, so there's a lot of power that gets locked behind ascendancy rather than by just like pure level. But what they're trying to say is that they'd like everyone to be about the same level so they can tackle the new content relatively easily. So they're trying to say, if you've whaled, great, but really the new content is going to be accessible by both free-to-play players and whales. But what I would say is that whales are still being rewarded with higher ascendancy heroes, which, as you know, much better for things like PvP, etc., or arena, whatever you want to call it. But of course, they're trying to say that everybody should be able to start the Song of Strife content at level 240 and actually tackle the majority of the early content easily. If any of you have not seen this, they have basically doubled AFK chest rewards until the new season. And also, you'll also then basically be able to like push your resonance much more easily. For context, when you were like at resonance 210 or resonance 220, it takes about 2,300 dust to get to the next level. I was generating about 2,300 dust a day at max AFK level. I'm now generating 5,000 odd dust a day, which is going to basically allow me to ascend essentially 2 heroes to 240 a day. I've got 2 heroes at 240. I've got 3 heroes at 230. I'm not even actually at max resonance level yet, but I'll be able to get it within this week because of the double rewards that they have given, which is fantastic. And also, if you haven't completed the quest line, I already had, but if you haven't completed the quest line, you'll also get extra essence by completing the quest line. So any essence that you would have gained through like story quests, I guess, and town quests, that is also going to be increased. So essentially getting massive amounts of dust. If you ever bought dust, I feel bad because everyone's just getting a massive amount of free dust. But obviously, dust is never going to be wasted. It's going to be used throughout all of your ascendancy. But if you bought dust to get to 240 quickly, you're going to get 240 quickly anyway because of the free stuff that's coming. So this is a really, really good change for free-to-play players, and it's going to allow free-to-play players to catch up to most players, at least on a level standpoint. So what they're saying is that most free-to-play players that play actively should be at level 240 by the time that the Song of Strife season rolls around, and that is going to put you on at least a level where you can start doing the content the same as the whales can. Once you achieve 240, you'll not only unlock this season, but also all upcoming seasons. So I guess they're saying is that you need a minimum of 240 to actually participate in any season. So as long as you hit 240, you can participate in any season upcoming, which is great. Really, really good. Good change. Okay, this is interesting. This is where they get a bit philosophical about gacha games. Many gacha game players express concern naturally when they hear a new progression system, because of course you think, is that just going to be another way for money? Is this going to be another money sink? I like how they've basically they have absolutely just called certain parts of gacha systems a money sink. Will this just be another money sink? At AFK Journey, we want to address this issue, especially with the problem of the long-term power creep that is common in gacha games. The progression systems in AFK Journey will be divided into two categories: permanent progression systems and seasonal progression systems. The seasonal progression systems will reset at the end of each season, but the permanent progression systems will remain unchanged. Let's talk about this in more detail. Currently, all progression systems are considered permanent. I need to put my glasses on because it's getting hard to read. Currently, all progression systems are considered permanent. Artifacts, resonance level, class equipment, hero tier, hero exclusive equipment, and other systems. They will remain effective for all future seasons. These systems are the foundations of your power. Expect the permanent progression system to have the greatest impact on your exploration of the main story quests and progression through most of the game modes. So what they're saying is that those progression systems are always going to be core to your power of your team. So those are going to be the most important things. Upon entering the Song of Strife season, the game introduces season-exclusive progression systems, which overlay the permanent progression systems. The seasonal progression systems consist of the season resonance level, the season class equipment, season artifacts, and other seasonal items. You can use these items, stats, and abilities by playing seasonal content, and they are only effective within the current season. So class equipment is, that's great. Equipment has never been a major issue for free-to-play or whale players. You can't really whale equipment that hard unless you're talking about exclusive equipment. Seasonal resonance level is going to be interesting. And what I think is going to be really cool is season artifacts. Now, they're going to talk about them down below, right? So the new seasonal progression system includes season resonance level, which resets every season. So essentially, that is only going to help you in the progression of the current season. Season hero skills. Each hero gains one seasonal skill, effective only during the season, unlocked after reaching season resonance level 51. That is insane to me. They are designing a new ability for every single hero. That could turn an F tier hero into an S tier hero, depending on what that ability is. That to me is really exciting. That changes the game completely. Potentially completely switches heroes on their head. So those of us that have been like, yeah, everything in Carolina, everything in Iron, like we could be eating our own words when the season rolls around because suddenly Kafir is amazing, or suddenly Faye becomes insane. So, Muriel enjoyers could be having their last laugh when the season rolls around. Class equipment, very similar to the current equipment system. I don't expect that to be a major issue unless they are gating it behind some sort of paid. Season artifact. 8 new season artifacts introduced each season, obtainable through season journey and various game modes. So for context, there are 6 artifacts now. So we're going to get 8 season artifacts to use in battle, which is going to be insane. Crazy. Like that's so much new extra ways to play the game. And I wonder if you even get to use your original artifacts during season artifacts. I don't know. This is an interesting one. Magic charms. Reset every season. Charms comes in 5 different qualities. So to me, that sort of says there's going to be some gacha around charms. Collecting 3 charms of the same quality will activate a hero's special ability. So essentially, there's going to be another special ability associated with charms, it seems like. In later stages of the season, you customize your hero's stats by equipping different sets of charms. So, and this feature was designed to be easy to use, I assume. It says easy to develop, but I assume it means easy to use. So magic charms don't have levels, randomized stats, or require complex inventory management skills. Soon you'll learn more about magic charms in our Journey Unfolds video. So I assume what this means is that, because obviously, if I just show you, give me a second, I'm just going to show you. So I'm just going to give you the context here. So for instance, there's a load of stats that just don't have anything on them, like healing, assistance, energy on hit, crit damage boost, resilience, etc. Like some of these just have nothing associated with them. So I'm going to assume this means that those stats can be affected by magic charms. And it'd be really interesting if you can kind of turn, like, let's say, a ranged character into a dedicated tank, so you can like make Smokey into a dedicated tank, for instance, with certain charms. Like there's a lot of interesting things that could be done here that I'm quite excited about. And what I'm getting from this, and this is the most important thing I'm taking away from this entire thing. Seasons are actually going to massively impact the game. They're going to massively change how heroes work, how things happen. And I think one of the biggest criticisms that I have of AFK Journey, I love the game, but one of the biggest criticisms I have is that it's not actually an open world game. Essentially you're playing a 3D version of AFK Arena. You just move from point to point and you just do battles. The open world is beautiful visually, but you don't do anything in it. You just walk from battle to battle to battle. And, you know, if you, a lot of people have said that the story is very hit or miss. I've never been a story person, so I skipped the entire story. The only thing that I got from the story was that Atlanta and Temessia are very good roommates. But yeah, no, I like it. The open world just feels like a sort of like you've taken the AFK Arena track and you've just turned it into a 3D version. But you know, there's no secrets to find. Like one of the things, and look, this is just my personal opinion, and I don't think it needs to be this way. One of the things that I think that AFK Journey could have done was borrow more from Lost Ark. In Lost Ark, I was scouring the map for like those little stupid nut things that you could find that were collectibles. There's so many areas that are like secret behind trees in the AFK Journey, and then there's just nothing there. You know, I really feel like they could have added collectibles, secrets, all that kind of stuff to the map, and it would have made it much more compelling to explore it. You know, I tried to explore the whole map purely out of just I needed to have the entire map lit up on my screen, but I just feel like there was and believe me, this point's going somewhere. I feel like there was just a lack of like using the open world to its advantage. This makes me feel like they maybe could have plans for that open world down the line. You know, they maybe could start introducing things that even if it's just like a seasonal update that affects the whole map. You know, you go and search for things on the map. There are collectibles to find. These collectibles give you title rewards or cosmetic rewards. You know, like those are things that I think could be really good for the game. And, you know, and also like this is a little bit too much to ask, but I'd love for them to introduce a boat system like Lost Ark, for instance, where, you know, you jump on a boat at a port and you can just fly around the map on a boat. It doesn't feel like it'd be too hard to implement given the way that you move around the map anyway. So, you know, I think like there's just so much potential with AFK Journey. And this is why I like this season. This is the point that I'm making. I like this seasonal update because it feels like this is starting to potentially try and tap into that potential. You know, when AFK Journey released, it was a good game. It's kept me addicted. I've played the game a lot, but I feel like it could do so much more. Like it really could just be a genre defining game, but it's just not quite there yet because there's just a lot of things that they've set up the baseline for, but they just haven't hit the next level. You know, I'd love for you to have like one of the things that to me is a no-brainer for these games is like having your own house. Like we've got the tavern, but like have a house where you can buy, like even like buy cosmetics for, set up your own little house with sofas and your own bar. Like there's There's so much you can do in these games, and I just feel like AFK Journey's almost there. But the seasonal progression stuff that they're showing here is quite good. Each season lasts for 4 months, but that's only a small part of Asperia's long history. With each season, we'll explore deeper into the rich tapestry of Asperia, where new features on the world map and Magister Merlin's journey await. So new features on the world map, that's nice. It's maybe showing that they're going to be using that map to more of its advantages. They're not just about introducing new heroes and characters, they're about taking you to the heart of Asperia, revealing its hidden secrets and history. Once you've met the requirements for entering Song of Strife, you'll be able to pick up a new main quest in Hollowstone and travel to new areas. In addition to telling the story of Asperia, the new areas will feature fresh and exciting exploration mechanics and puzzles for you to enjoy. It's worth noting that there are no time limits on exploring areas or storylines, so if you enjoy it, you can go back and do it, basically, which is great. After a season ends... So essentially, once these seasons end, it goes back to the temporal nexus, and it's not limited by seasonal progression systems. This means that you can experience all of the world and story content from past seasons whenever you want. In addition, unfinished quests from the story season can be completed after the season ends. These chapters are independent, and each season contains its own story. Just like Netflix, you can explore them in any order you like. Very interesting. In addition to advancing the storyline, we'll be releasing a number of limited time events on a regular basis. These events will offer generous rewards and will be open to all players. So even if you didn't meet the requirements to join the season in time, you won't miss out on participating in these events. Additionally, to make the guild events more friendly to all players, so those who haven't entered the season will automatically be adjusted to the season's baseline level in the season drill battle mode. So essentially, even if you haven't made it to the season level, you'll be able to participate in guild events as if you were at that base level. If I'm AFKing every day, is that okay? It's perfectly fine to play casually and only AFK stages, but don't forget features like the Dream Realm where you can discover top tier equipment. Yeah, I mean, ultimately you can enjoy this game very casually, but you will miss out on a lot of stuff. Okay, so if I start playing in the middle of the season, will I miss anything? Starting out mid-season may mean missing out on some limited time items and content and rewards. However, with each season lasting 4 months, it doesn't take long to complete the story. Also, new story content will be added with version updates. You can explore, blah, blah, blah. So basically saying, yes, if you don't start the season at the start, you might miss out on some rewards, but the bulk of the content, you should be able to, explore at your own pace. And even if you miss the season, you can go back and do it in the temporal nexus. Since I've already reached Resonance level 240, unlocking in the new season will be effortless. Can't I just race through the whole map? Whilst unlocking regions may be faster, your journey is about progressing with your companions. I don't know what this means. Through various features and seasonal content, you'll continue to grow rather than just race through. What I'm saying is that, what I guess they're saying is like, if you're a whale, I mean, this is what I don't get, because you need to be level Resonance 240 to unlock the season. You can't do the season without being Resonance level 240. So I'm assuming there's going to be a baseline pace at which you can do it, and what I guess they're saying is if you've whaled and you've got loads of mythics, then you'll get through quicker. But obviously, there are going to be challenges that come with the season. You mentioned that seasonal story chapters are tied to seasonal progressions. Will there be any problems with seasonal story chapters after the season ends? Basically saying, no, story chapters in the temporal nexus are not affected by seasonal progressions. Should I just return to AFK Journey after 10 years and unlock a ton of story chapters and rewards at once? This is such a crazy question. Should I just come back to this game in 10 years? Said absolutely no one ever. So, 10 years. Come back to this game after 10 years. That's great. What they have said, as you may have noticed, sorry if you can hear my children in the background, is that they said, we welcome you and hope you enjoy this game for 10 years. So maybe they're planning for a 10-year... game update cycle, which would be cool. I've never really heard of a live service game going that far into the future in terms of its initial planning. Theoretically, yes, but basically, in addition to prevent players from claiming massive rewards at once, there'll be certain mechanics for claiming rewards in the temporal nexus to ensure that both distribution and acquisition of rewards makes sense over the long term. So what I guess they're saying is that the temporal nexus version of the seasons will be slightly less rewarding than doing it actually when the season is participating. Will resources be refunded for reset content at the end of the season? Resources will not be refunded directly, but rewards will be calculated and distributed according to seasonal progression. Specific calculation rules will be announced later. And this is what's interesting, because of course, if you know that anything that you buy in a season is going to be useless at the end of a season, because obviously they are going to monetize a season, this is a gacha game, it's AFK Journey. Of course, they're going to monetize a season. But obviously, people might not buy in a huge amount if they just think that ultimately it's going to mean nothing for them when it comes to the next season. So there will clearly be some kind of dream realm type ranking position where if your ranking in the season affects the kind of rewards that you get at the end of the season, which is kind of interesting because a lot of people have spent money now, and I'm very interested to know how much the money that you spent now is going to impact your overall season progression compared to people who might just come in and spend in the season. It's this very difficult thing to balance, but I'm interested to see how they tackle it. With the recent addition of cross-friend system, I'm hoping for more cross-server features. We're preparing to implement a mechanism called Dynamic District. This mechanism, designed by our team based on years of experience, will assign multiple servers to a district at the beginning of a season. Throughout the season, you'll experience different cross-server cooperative or competitive modes, some of which are district-based, while many others are not restricted by your district. The servers will then be reassigned to different districts for the next season. Some features will also make districts compete with each other during the season. We'll provide more details, information on future patch notes. Will every server have access to a full month's... this is what I said earlier. Will every server have full months to experience the season? To access season, servers that already will have servers that are ready when the new season starts will have a full 4 months. A server may at most be delayed for the first time they enter a new season. Then all future seasons available on the first date without a subsequent delay. So basically, they're saying they're trying to line up as many servers for season 2 as physically possible. But yeah, really interesting. TLDR, loads of free rewards for free-to-play players. Get yourself to Resonance level 240 really quickly. There are going to be loads of new season mechanics, and that gives me hope for how they're going to potentially use the beautiful world that they've created in different ways. I think there's lots of things they can do with it. I think they can make it way more Lost Arky. And there's going to be seasonal progression and seasonal resets, and then you'll get loads of rewards based on your seasonal rank. So yeah, lots of really cool stuff coming. I'm excited about this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.